Nihon no eiga o mimashita. What movie did I see? I saw Platonic Sex. This movie. Yeah, why did I want to see it? Well, it was because one of my favorite Super Nintendo games, or Super Famicom games, Magical Poppen, had its main character's voice made by Ai Iijima, which I found out was a former Japanese porn star, which roused my interest, but more in the way that it was so ironic to have a porn star voicing someone that's like super cute and cheerful blonde princess going around stabbing things with a regular metal sword and not a pork sword like she's used to. Yeah, anyway, so when I read her story, it was interesting, and I found out that she had written a book, an autobiographical book, and the book had been made into a movie, which is this movie. And I thought that was interesting enough to watch, and I've been wanting to try watching more Japanese movies anyway. So the movie begins with the main character, who's named Aoi, which means blue, but whatever, it's also a name. She's quite blue because she's on the top of her high school roof and about to jump. And then as she's about to like take the last step, she gets a text on her phone out of nowhere, and it's from this guy who's also standing on a roof. He's standing on a roof, sends a text to someone, we don't know who at that point, and she gets it at just the right, even though she knows it's like a wrong number, she feels sort of like, wow, someone sort of cares about me. So she steps back from the ledge, and then when she answers him, with whatever she answers with, he is standing on a street looking at like these two teenage guys with their girlfriends or something, and he's holding a knife in his hand. And then he gets the text, and when he gets the text, he drops the knife and just walks away. And we'll get to later what the hell that was all about. But cut back to Aoi, and then it's at this point it's a little unsure with the whole chronology, because she sits somewhere, she doesn't have a lot of money, and she sort of flashes back a few times to when she was in high school. She got gang raped by 3 of her friends or something. They were all getting drunk or whatever, and then they just decide to rape her out of nowhere. And then she's beaten by her father at home because he thinks she's a slut, even though, rape is involuntary by definition. Anyway, so he beats her up a bit, and her mother doesn't do anything. So she leaves home, we assume anyway. So to make money, she starts working as a hostess, and she starts out being not very good, and but she gets better and better, and she starts getting a lot of money from her suitors, let's call it, and she gets in a lot of debt because she uses the money and money she doesn't have to buy all sorts of brand clothes and that kind of thing, bags and whatever. So she's in debt for like 5 million yen or something. So I think one guy who works at the club she's at takes her to this place where she signs a deal to be in 5 porno movies to get 5 million. Upon completion of the 5, I mean, when she's done 5 pornos, she gets 5 million, then she can pay off her debts. So she starts doing that. And during this time, she's been texting with the guy a few times back and forth. And then it turns out that the club where she and her hostess colleagues go to unwind is the place that he works at, but she doesn't know. She only knows him via text, of course. And then she finds out that he's working there, and then he's working in the bar, but he's also a wannabe. He wants to be a DJ, so he gets to be a DJ one evening because their original guy canceled or something. So she sees him like up there, and then she asks someone at the bar, like, what's his name, and his name is the same name as the one in the text, so she texts him right there and see that he picks it up and answers back, and then you sort of, they look at each other as they know that they're, you know, it's them, which is a nice little coincidence. So they start dating, and it all goes fine for a while. We find out that his sister died. His sister committed suicide, which is why he was standing somewhere on the day on her birthday when she committed suicide, looking, clutching a knife, looking at the people who in school bullied her enough that she took her own life. So he was about, was about to jump and kill herself, and he was about to stab these guys to death and basically go to jail for the rest of his life. So they were both on the edge when they got the random text, which I thought was a really nice thing. So they're with each other for a while, but then he finds out, when he's just on the town and whatever, he finds out that she's in pornos, and he doesn't like it. And I guess you can understand why. So he tells her, can you please stop doing this? Stop doing this. And she's like, well, okay, but if I quit, then I have to pay them 5 million yen, and I don't have any money. And he's sort of like, well, so what's the problem? He basically just, wants her to quit no matter what. So she ends up borrowing the money to quit, and then she goes back to him and she tells him that, okay, I'm out of it now. And he's like, well, where did you get the money then? Did you borrow it? And they're like, yeah. And then he gets mad about that too. So you can't please this guy, apparently. So then they sort of, in that same vein, she gets pregnant. She tells him he's just shocked and appalled or whatever. And then she goes to have an abortion. And then he comes around and is like, well, maybe it would be nice to have a kid. And then she's like, just had an abortion, sorry. So basically they have a breakup. She says stuff that she shouldn't have, and they go their separate ways. Everything's sad again, and she basically ends up back at the rooftop. She ends up at the rooftop because she hears that he died. He got hit by a car. So she goes to the morgue to identify his body and stuff. Then she goes to the roof to kill herself again. But then, just as she's about to kill herself, she gets a text from him, which was the last thing he sent before he got killed. He saw a kid, like a kid in daycare or something, walking across the street. He was running into the street, and he basically, went to protect him and got hit himself. So, but before that, he sent a text to her, like basically saying, I need you, let's try again. And she then knows that he wanted to try again, basically. So it kind of like makes her feel better, and then she doesn't kill herself, and the end. So in this movie, she's only in 2 porno movies before she quits. And in reality, Ai Iijima was in like 100 or something, according to Wikipedia anyway. So they didn't follow that one so well. With the title of Platonic Sex, I thought the movie would go into a bit more like the process of what does it do to a person that you have a bunch of loveless sex with random people, platonic sex, and then you try to have a relationship at the same time with somebody who you actually love. But they don't really go into that. They just sort of, the porno thing is sort of glossed over. It's more really of just a love story, relationship movie. On the other hand, it's a pretty nice relationship love story movie because it's about, you get the sense that it's about 2 broken people who find each other. But then they still can't really work it out, but they could have, with the last text there, you sort of get the feel that if he didn't get hit by a car or whatever, they could have gotten back together and made it work. But yeah, a love story about 2 broken people, that's basically the gist of the movie. I have to say that the main actress playing Aoi in this movie is really attractive. But her acting is only decent, I would say, because she has that. It's gonna sound really weird, but he has the Michael Corleone in The Godfather 2 problem. She reacts to a lot of stuff with sort of like this face, just. Okay, that's not the face that Michael Corleone does, but anyway, she looks really vacant a lot of the time, and it gets frustrating. It's frustrating for me to watch stuff when people get, they get shouted at or something, and just kind of like say something, god damn it. So she does that a little too much, but she's quite the eye candy otherwise. Yeah. Yeah, in general, I would say it's not the movie I was hoping for, but it wasn't the movie. It was good. It was still good, and it's fortunately it's not available anywhere else that I know of than via Hong Kong import. But it's I'd say it's worth a watch.